Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are jumping right into the hunt for the perfect low-carb dinner. We're going to break down two super simple and apparently delicious recipes that have been all over TikTok. Let's get into it. You know the feeling, right? It's the end of a long day, you're starving, and you need something that fits your low-carb or keto lifestyle, but you just don't have the energy for a complicated recipe or a mountain of dishes. Well, that is exactly the problem we're tackling today. So here's what we've got on the menu. We'll start with that classic low-carb dinner dilemma. Then we'll get into recipe number one, the tuna patty melts. And of course, its must-have secret sauce. After that, we're making sausage mozzarella bowls where we uncover a pretty crucial macro miscalculation. And then we'll wrap it all up with the final verdict and key takeaways. So, what was the real mission here? See, the original creator wasn't just looking for any old low-carb meal. Nope. They were trying to find dinners that ticked a very specific and kind of tricky list of boxes. And here is that very checklist. Of course, it had to be low carb, taste amazing, be simple to make, and a breeze to clean up. But here's the kicker. It had to completely avoid some of the most common and, let's be honest, sometimes polarizing low carb staples. No cottage cheese, no almond flour, and no coconut flour. That's a tall order. But two TikTok recipes seem to rise to the challenge. All right, first up, our solution from TikTok creator Keto Craig's these awesome-looking tuna patty melts, a recipe that promises huge flavor with almost zero fuss. And the ingredients list? It's about as simple as it gets. We're talking basic canned tuna, an egg to hold it all together, a generous helping of mozzarella and Parmesan for that cheesy goodness, and just a few simple seasonings. That's it. And the process could not be easier. You literally dump everything into one bowl, give it a good mix, shape them into patties, and pop them in the oven. The creator did mention the mix seemed a little crumbly at first, but they trusted the cheese would work its magic and bind it all together, and it totally did. So after that first bite, the verdict came in, and it was crystal clear. The patty itself, fantastic flavor. But the thing that takes it from just good to, oh my gosh, this is amazing, the sauce. The creator was adamant. The success of this dish absolutely depends on this sauce. So, what is this magical sauce that had everybody in the original video's comment section buzzing? Let's take a look. Now, what's so cool about this is that there are no precise measurements. The creator basically said, look, this is a totally forgiving, measure with your heart kind of sauce. You start with a mayo base, and then just add the other stuff until you get it tasting exactly how you like it. Simple, totally customizable, and apparently a complete game changer. All right, let's switch gears to recipe number two, the one the creators seemed especially pumped to try, these sausage mozzarella bowls from TikToker Just in Time. The base for these bowls is pretty unique. Forget any kind of flour. This crust is made from canned chicken, eggs, two kinds of cheese, and some seriously bold seasonings like Cajun and smoked paprika. I know, it sounds a little wild, but it creates this amazing, savory, sturdy little bowl. So the first part of the process is all about building that structure. You mix up all those crust ingredients, press the mixture down really well into a jumbo muffin tin to make your little cups, and then you par-bake them for just 6 minutes to get them to set. And next up, we've got the filling. Oh yeah, each one of those little chicken crusts gets loaded up with creamy marinated mozzarella balls, chunks of spicy raw Italian sausage, and then a salty, tangy topping of crumbled feta cheese. Okay, so when you're putting it all together, the key is to really press that feta down into the sausage. Then it goes back in the oven for another 20 minutes. But here it is, the single most important step, letting them cool on a wire rack. Don't skip this. This is what lets that crust get perfectly crisp. And the results? It was an immediate, resounding success. The creator gave it an A++ and said that, surprisingly, the crust doesn't taste like chicken at all. It just becomes this delicious, savory foundation that holds everything together perfectly. But, and this is a big but, here's where our story takes a really interesting twist. The original recipe posted some nutritional info, but our creator, being a numbers guy, decided to crunch them for himself. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's such a powerful reminder that if you're tracking your macros seriously, you have got to do your own math, because sometimes the numbers can be, well, surprisingly different. And wow, just look at this table.
It perfectly illustrates what he found. The original numbers, 175 calories and only 5 grams of fat, were way, way off. His calculations showed the calories were more than double, the protein was more than double, and the fat over 4 times higher. That is a massive difference for anyone who's trying to be precise.
So, after all that cooking and calculating, what are the big takeaways? What did we learn from this whole experiment? Well, he left us with some fantastic pro tips. For the tuna patties, maybe a slightly lower temp, but above all else, that sauce is absolutely non-negotiable. For the sausage bowls, remember that cooling rack is the secret to a crispy crust. He even threw in a bonus recipe for air-fried meatballs with the leftovers. But the biggest lesson of all, the one that applies to any recipe you find online, is to always, always calculate your own nutritional info. So in the end, even with that macro correction, both of these recipes were declared total winners. They absolutely delivered on that initial promise of being easy, delicious, and super satisfying low-carb dinners that are perfect for a busy weeknight. So what do you think? Are you going to give these a try? Hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown and found it helpful, do me a favor and give it a like. It honestly helps the channel grow so much. And make sure you subscribe. And definitely drop a comment below to let us know what you want us to break down next. Thanks for watching.